Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, Duta BPJS Kesehatan all over Indonesia. Welcome to the Initiative National Debate Competition INDC 2024. It's very good to see you all here again, everybody. Okay, before we start, I want to make clear that you are joining the right room right now. Because in this time, in the same time, we have two sessions are running. You are joining now in the round 32 session 1 group A. So please everybody make it sure it's a right room. This afternoon we will witness an interesting match between the Like Art team from KCL Sukabumi Kepwil 5 as the affirmative house versus Senentang team from KC Sintang Kepwil 4 as the negative house. Okay, please give the very hype support for your favorite team, guys. We have 83 participants right now. Where is your favorite team? Please give the hype. Okay, first I would like to introduce myself. Hello everyone, I am Aisyah Junaid, AIS for short. I'm from Kantor Cabang Banjarmasin, Kepwil 8. I'll be your moderator for this afternoon and will lead this session till the end. I'm here with Corporate University team, Mas Rizky, to help me operate and timer for today's session. Okay, and then I would like to say hi to our honorable adjudicator. We have 3 adjudicator for this session. First, I want to say hi to Miss Suciati Mega. Hello, Miss Suci. How are you today?
Hello, I'm fine, thank you. Hello, debaters. Can't wait to see the competition today. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Suci. Our second adjudicator is Miss Mardiana. Hello, Miss Mardiana. How are you today?
Hello everyone, I'm Anna from Corporate University. Today together with Ms. Suci and Mr. Kira, we will be the adjudicator of this event. Congrats for all of you who already in the playoff phase. We really anticipation the best games this afternoon. Good luck everyone.
Okay, for next adjudicator, our honorable adjudicator, Mr. Kira. Hello, Mr. Kira. How are you today?
Thank you, Ais. I'm fine, and congrats to you guys for this coming in the 32 big. I hope you can give us the best. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kira. Thank you once again to all honorable adjudicator for joining this session in time. And thank you for giving your precious time to INDC 2024. Okay, this is the most important because here we have 2 teams have joined. Allow me to introduce the contestant. First team, as the affirmative house, we have the Like Art team. Hello, the Like Art team. How are you today?
We're
Okay, I
fine,
want
thank
to
you.
okay,
Fine,
I want
thank you.
to say
Thank
hey.
you. Hello.
Hello.
Everybody,
I want
hello.
to
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I want to say hi one by one, I guess. Okay, first we have the first speaker, Mr. Farhan Adrian. Hello, Mr.
Okay.
Farhan. How are you
Yeah,
today?
hello, I'm Farhan Adrian. I'm fine. Yep, I'm from the Like Earth team and from representing the government house as a first speaker of this debate.
Okay, thank you so much. How are you feel? How do you feel now? Are you nervous or
I'm ready. I'm more than ready for this.
Very good. Thank you so much, Mr. Farhan. And then our
Welcome.
second speaker from the affirmative house, Mr. Rian Aldi Prasetyo. Hello, Mr. Rian. How are you today?
Hello, Good afternoon, all. I'm fine, thank you. I'm the like a team of second speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Yan. Good luck. And next, our third speaker, Miss Mira Rizky Yulianti. Hello, Miss Mira.
Hello,
Are you okay?
everyone. I'm fine. Thank you.
Hello. Okay,
And
thank
this affirmative
you.
host and the third speaker. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Good luck. And then we're moving to the opposition or the negative house, Senentan team. It's kind of difficult to spell it. Senentan team. Hello, we have first speaker, Miss Dwi Astuti. Hello, Miss Dwi Astuti. How are you today?
Hi, how are you doing? I'm doing great, thank you.
Okay, I'm doing good. So thank you. And then second speaker, Mr. Shafrizal. Hello, Mr. Shafrizal.
Hello, Miss.
Okay, how are you today? Are you okay? Are you nervous or something?
Feeling a bit nervous because of the opponent is so good, I think.
Uh, just enjoy this match. We have fun this afternoon. Okay, the third speaker from, sorry, the third speaker is Mr. Rifki Nur Zulfikar. Hello, Mr. Rifki.
Hello, dearest moderator. Hello, esteemed judges, and adjudicator, and hello, fellow debaters. Rifki from Senentang, the third speaker.
Okay, thank you so much. Good luck, Mr. Rifki. Okay, and we have the negative house honorable counselor, Miss Despita Yani. Okay, I want to say hello to all our beloved audience in the Zoom meeting. We have we have 100 audience right now. Okay, I want to say hello to all the audience in the Zoom meeting. The chat box is all yours. So everyone is open to give your support and cheer to your favorite team. But remember, it's a safe space. So please keep it positive and be kind. Okay. We have a very many support here from the for the both team. Okay, before we start, allow me to read some rules for all the participants. The first rule is no participants are allowed to open their microphones before their own turn. The second, team member must rename themselves with format team name underscore first, second, or third according to the speaker, and team name
Sweet aja, sweet.
Okay, looks like we lost our moderator here.
Okay, just wait a little minute. Our moderator has been kidnapped, so Wait a little bit.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Since our moderator have a problem with her signal, so I will continue to reading the main rules for the debate today. And hello, I'm the co-moderator for this session. My name is Sasa, but my face hasn't in immersive yet, so please wait. Okay, so before we start, the rules for all participants is that no participants are allowed to open their microphones before their own turn. So please wait for the moderator to give you a signal for your own turn, okay? And the second rules is that team members must rename themselves with the rules like we talked before. The third rules is that each team members joins with their own Zoom account and not allowed to join in their sharing account. And the fourth rule is the moderator may do the necessary thing to make sure that this session is going smoothly. Is everyone clear about the rules so far?
All clear.
Okay. Are you guys ready? Ready.
Miss Sasha, I'm here.
Okay, our moderator is back. Are you guys ready? Let's back to you.
Okay, sorry everybody for failed connection. Okay, now we are going to start our debate for this afternoon. I will read the motion. As you know, guys, the main idea BPJS Kesehatan needs to increase the premium of Jaminan Kesehatan Nasional to sustain the program. Our premise for this afternoon, the premium of Jaminan Kesehatan Nasional refers to the contribution or free paid by the participant to the Indonesia National Health Insurance Program BPJS Kesehatan. BPJS Kesehatan faces critical financial challenges that jeopardize its ability to provide sustainable and quality healthcare service to all Indonesians. The affirmative house has to ensure the audience that increasing premiums is necessary for the long-term viability and effectiveness of Jaminan Kesehatan Nasional or JKN. Okay, speakers, are you clear for the motion and the premise? Hello, speakers, are you clear?
Yeah, we're clear.
Yes, all clear. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, speakers, I hope everyone is prepared for today's mission and use your time wisely. And for corporate university team, please prepare the timer. Okay. The first change of speaking comes to first speaker of affirmative side. Are you ready?
Ready.
Okay. Okay. You have 3 minutes. You can see your time in the corner. Your time begins once you start speaking.
All right. Okay. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We're the Like Earth team, which represents the government house, and we'll present our side of this issue. Social security institutions are an important phase of government. The public turns to social security for support, especially in times of need at various phases over the course of their life. While the financial sustainability of programs is an ongoing concern of social security administrators, satisfying the public's demand for benefits and services daily requires more immediate attention and action. According to Law Number 40 of 2004 and Law Number 24 of 2011, Social Security Administration Body, or BPJS, was formed, which is a government agency formed to organize a national social security program, and BPJS Kesehatan was officially inaugurated on January 1st, 2014. In 2018, BPJS Kesehatan experienced a deficit in financing health services. This was due to the gap between the costs of health services and the income received from participant contributions. Contribution, also known as premium, is the cost borne and must be paid by the insurance participant within a specified period, according to prior agreement. Meanwhile, sustainability refers to the industry's ability to maintain financial stability and meet its obligations over the long term, while also considering environmental, social, and governance factors, or ESG. This House believes that BPJS Kesehatan should increase the amount of contributions to ensure the sustainability of the program for a few reasons. Number one, healthcare costs will experience inflation at some point in the future, especially following the COVID pandemic. Number two, there is a correlation between medical inflation and an increase in healthcare service costs in early 2023. Number three, the health sciences field is constantly evolving, which requires increasing amounts of funding to provide comprehensive treatments. Number four, communities are increasingly dependent on BPJS Kesehatan to receive quality medical treatment, with a notable increase in health services utilization, membership coverage, and participant satisfaction. Additionally, we have also considered potential impacts of implementing such policies to ensure that participants are willing to accept this kind of change in contribution pricing. Number one, the community needs to be able to and willing to pay for the increased pricing. As of 2023, Indonesia is categorized as an upper middle income country based on the income per capita, which can offset this issue. Number two, there needs to be an increase in healthcare quality to balance the increase in contributions. Number three, there also needs to be an increase in the effectiveness of funding management, such as anti-fraud measures. Number four, the government needs to support low-income communities to ensure that they continue to be able to receive healthcare benefits. These points will be further elaborated on by our speakers soon, so please stay tuned for more details. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for the first speaker of Affirmative House. You use your time very well. Okay, the next speaker is from first speaker of negative side. Are you ready, Miss Dwi? Okay, are you ready? Okay. Okay, your time begins once you start speaking.
Good afternoon, everyone. Dear judges and all debaters fellow. On the past few years, BPJS Kesehatan is being haunted by the shadow of financial deficit. There might be several reasons happening behind this problem. And to maintain the sustainability of national health program, contribution raise might sound like a promising solution, as the previous speaker have been said. But I'm afraid that we had a different perspective about this, and we thought that raising the contribution or the premium is not always the best alternative to ensure the sustainability of GKN due to several reasons, and here's why. Firstly, increasing the contribution rate can impose a heavier financial burden on participants, especially for groups who pay the premium independently, or we know as peserta mandiri. A study in 2020 showed that as many as 33% of independent participants didn't comply on paying BPJS Kesehatan contribution. So with all being said, raising contribution rate will be the last thing that we want to see. Instead, it's better if we can focus on enhancing the premium collectability mechanism. And secondly, before addressing to raise contribution rate, maybe it will be better if we can exploring another alternative solution. And this might include like better management of healthcare costs, exploring additional government subsidies, and then optimization claim payment and optimization technology to reduce administrative costs and to prevent fraud in healthcare facilities. And lastly, significant increase in contribution rate can provoke public dissatisfaction. But participants may assess if the increase of contribution align with the improvement of healthcare services and benefit. So if they feel that the quality or accessibility of healthcare services are not aligned with the higher premium, the satisfaction levels may be decreased. And then So based on the argument we have revealed, we'll simply just saying that the raising contribution rate is not the best way to handle deficit rate on the BPJS Kesehatan. Instead of raising the premium here, are this time here the strategy that we could ensure to maintain the sustainability. Number one, by enhancing the funding and collectibility mechanism. And number two, improving operational efficiency by reducing administrative costs for unnecessary expense and also fraud and abuse of prevention. And then number three, healthcare delivery optimization by promoting cost-effective healthcare practices. I think that's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you. For speaker of negative house, your time very well too. Next, we'll go to the second speaker of affirmative team. Your time begins once you start speaking.
Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, honorable to all adjudicators. Here I will explain, is it necessary for BPJS Kesehatan to increase the amount of contribution to ensure the sustainability of the program? Looking at the background, it can be explained. First, BPJS Kesehatan must increase the contribution rate to ensure the sustainability of the program. This is because healthcare costs in Asia are expected to experience inflation. According to the Mars Benefit Health Trends 2024 report, medical costs in Indonesia are expected to grow by 13% in 2024, which is an increase after the COVID-19 pandemic. The increase in Indonesia is higher than Asia at 11%. The increase in healthcare costs is due to higher price of health goods, higher insurance claim costs, and delayed treatment during the COVID-19 pandemic. Number two, medical inflation is also aligned in the increase in the health service tariff at the beginning of 2023 as stipulated in the Minister of Health Regulation number 3 of 2023 concerning standard service tariffs in the implementation of the health insurance program. The increase in health service cost is also influenced by the general inflation rate of 5.5% in 2022. 3. Rising healthcare costs as medical costs continue to increase every year. This is in line with the fact that the health sector is a dynamic science to develop over time, relying to increase the sophisticated support system, of course, requires funding. Presidential Regulation number 59 of 2024, Article 103, which regulates of determination of benefits rates and contribution, is effective no later than July 1st, 2025. Efforts to increase the insurance contribution to maintain the sustainability of JKN are not new. Since the implementation of JKN adjustment to insurance contribution have been made as set a presidential regulation number 111 of 2013, presidential regulation number 19 of 2016, president regulation number 82 of 2018, president regulation number 75 2019, and president regulation number 64 of 2020. According to Merdico, this is make the Indonesian per capita income, which is the have $4,580 US as of July 2022. The figure surpassed the threshold for 2,466 US dollars set by World Bank, the upper middle income category. Based the World Bank data, Indonesia gross national income per capita increased the 9.83% to $4,580 US dollar in 2022. Thank you.
Thank you, second speaker. Okay, next, the second speaker of negative team. Your time begins once you start speaking.
Ladies and gentlemen, adjudicator and moderator, and also fellow debater. Today, we stand in firm opposition to the proposal that BPJS Kesehatan should raise premium to maintain sustainability. We believe that such a measure will be damaging to the very core principles of universal healthcare accessibility and financial fairness. When we are talking about sustainability, there are many factors that should be considered, not just about income, but also outcome. So allow me to present our case. Firstly, BPJS Kesehatan premium collectability should be prioritized, especially for self-employed individuals segments, which the collection rate for this segment is still very low, under 45%. Furthermore, BPJS Kesehatan should reinforce their inspection and law enforcement to maximize membership recruitment across segments. By enhancing collectability across those segments, BPJS Kesehatan can ensure sustainable funding and equitable healthcare access for all Indonesians. Secondly, the argument that raising premiums will mitigate deficit overlooks significant issues within the system itself. Rather than burdening taxpayers and beneficiaries with increased costs, BPJS Kesehatan should focus on addressing inefficiencies and optimizing management practice, such as improving claims management. Recently, BPKP discovered that BPJS Kesehatan overpaid the capitation fee, which is paid to the healthcare facilities. The total fee that all healthcare facilities need to return reached 3.1 trillion rupiah. This is a worrying fact that BPJS Kesehatan should address in the near future to optimize their outcome. Thirdly, raising premium fee will decrease the ability to pay for a member, which will leading to higher rates of non-payment or delayed payment. This could result in reduced healthcare access for those who need it the most, contradicting the goal of the universal health coverage. Based on study conducted by a researcher from Gadjah Mada University, the study found that the willingness to pay for an active member is as low as 16,000 rupiah for the third class. This result shows that Indonesian citizens, especially for mid to low class, that today's premium is already high and hardly affordable. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. You still have time. Do you want to use it? No.
Enough.
Okay, thank you so much. Next, third speaker of affirmative team. Your time begins once you start speaking. Oh, sorry, please unmute first.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Honorable to all of the educators and moderators, respect to the negative house, and respect to all of the audiences. Well, I would like to deliver the suggestion and solution before deciding on increasing insurance contribution. There are things that should be considered as follows. The first, ability and willingness to pay, according to the journal title, respond to the increase in national health insurance contribution and the utility of health center by JKN participant in Medan 2020, that 88.6% of active participants who use BPJS Kesehatan support the increase in contribution that occurred in 2019, believing that the increase in contribution is accompanied by improvement in healthcare services. And the second, effectiveness of fund management. Improving the efficiency of healthcare insurance fund management could potentially reduce unnecessary expenditures. This include measures such as strengthening fraud prevention. And the third, improvement in service quality. Any increase in insurance contribution must be accompanied by improvement in health quality and availability to ensure participants benefit from their contribution. So the fourth, government commitment. According to Presidential Regulation number 59 of 2024, Article 99, that regional government are obligated to support the implementation of the health insurance program. This includes ensuring compliance with the contribution payment, increasing membership in the region, and ensuring the availability and quality improvement of health facilities and services. Government support and assistance to low-income community in paying insurance contribution are crucial to ensure they receive healthcare benefit and alleviate financial burdens. So, I think increasing insurance contribution is a method to sustain the national health insurance by enforcing regulation involving public sanction. Compliance among participants in paying contribution can be improved. The legal basis for public sanction in BPJS Kesehatan can be found in Law number 24 of 2011 concerning Social Security Administration, particularly in Article 55 through 63. This law governs restrictive sanction that can be imposed on all sectors violating its provision, such as the obligation to pay contribution or other regulation concerning right and obligation within the social health insurance system. This means that this option can be implemented effectively as long as the contribution are increased fairly and proportionally, and good communication and socialization are conducted regarding the increase in contribution. So, this increase in contribution not only seen an emergency measure to ensure the program sustainability, but also as a planned policy in line with development in the health sector and improvement quality in the future. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. You use your time very well. And next, the third speaker of negative team, it's your turn. Your time begins once you start speaking.
Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed adjudicator, dearest moderator, and fellow debaters. As the third speaker opposing the affirmative stance on increasing the premiums of Jaminan Kesehatan Nasional, I'd like to point out that the affirmative team claims that increasing premiums is the only way to ensure the sustainability of BPJS Kesehatan. But this view is short-sighted and fundamentally flawed. I will present a more comprehensive arguments grounded in empirical evidence and data, ensuring a robust opposition to the motion and a better helicopter view. Honorable adjudicator, firstly, let us consider the economic burden on the population. From the point that our second speaker said, based on research, increasing premiums disproportionately affect low-income families who constitute a significant portion of JKN's participant. Higher premiums will exacerbate financial strain on these families, potentially leading to a decline in enrollment as people are unable to afford the increased costs. This, in turn, undermines the universal health coverage goal of JKN, leaving the most vulnerable populations without access to essential healthcare service. Secondly, the pro-team solution ignores the potential of expanding membership as a sustainable way to increase funds. BPJS Kesehatan must intensify its efforts to recruit members across all segments of society. By implementing targeted outreach program and simplifying the enrollment process, we can ensure that more people join the system, thereby increasing the overall revenue base. This strategy promotes inclusivity and ensures that more Indonesians benefit from the program. Furthermore, the affirmative team failed to address the significant inefficiencies within BPJS Kesehatan. Raising premiums does nothing to solve the underlying issues of financial mismanagement and waste. Recently, the Indonesian Supreme Audit Agency of BPK found that BPJS Kesehatan overpaid healthcare facilities by a staggering 3.1 trillion rupiah, just like my second speaker said. This overpayment is a clear indication of poor financial oversight. Instead of raising premiums, BPJS Kesehatan should focus on streamlining its operation, improving claims management, and ensuring accurate payments. By addressing these inefficiencies, we can save significant amounts of money and improve the program's financial health. Lastly, rising premiums will negatively impact healthcare accessibility. Higher premiums will disproportionately affect low-income families, leading to decreased enrollment and worse health outcomes. According to the World Health Organization in 2020, financial barriers to healthcare access lead to delayed treatments and more severe health conditions, ultimately increasing long-term healthcare costs. Ensuring affordable healthcare for all is crucial for a healthy population and a productive workforce. Let's reject motion and advocate for a more sustainable and just approach the funding of our national health insurance program. Thank you.
Thank you, Senentang third speaker. Okay, now we are entering the conclusion part. First team that delivered their conclusion goes to negative house and replied by the affirmative house. The negative house, you shall be ready. Your time begins once you start speaking.
Thank you so much for the conclusion for the negative house. Will be according the arguments that we have revealed. We'll just simply saying that raising contribution rate is not the best way to handle deficit threat on BPJS Kesehatan. And instead of raising the premium, some approaches that we could do to ensure the sustainability, like number one, like enhancing the funding and collectability mechanism. And then secondly, improving operational efficiency by reducing administrative administrative costs and for something like unnecessary expense, and also like the prevention of fraud in healthcare facility. Like our second speaker said that we have overpaid like 3.5 billion rupiah for a capitation fee, and that's quite a large number. And then healthcare delivery optimization by promoting cost-effective healthcare practices, and then improving service quality, accessibility, and benefits so it can align with the customer satisfaction improvement. We believe if the satisfaction can be improved, the higher our premium collectability will be. And then with all the approaches that we already said, maybe it can help to keep BPJS Kesehatan from deficit, and then we can gain the collectability as the maximum as possible. I think that's all for the conclusion. Thank you so much.
Senantang team, you still have remaining time. Do you want to use it?
I think that's enough. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next, replied by the affirmative house. Your time begins once you start speaking.
Okay, thank you for the response. Our conclusion is that we support the need for an increase in contributions for the following reasons. Number one, in terms of income per capita and economic burdens, our country has actually reached the threshold for the upper middle income category. This is because like the income has surged to $4,580 as of July 2022. And this does surpass the threshold of $4,466 set by the World Bank for the upper middle income category. Additionally, inflation is inevitable, which, and it will just be a stopgap solution if you don't increase the costs. And basically, we still need this because medical costs will continue to increase every single year. And again, the health sector is dynamic, okay? And treatments will get increasingly more and more complicated over time, and that will require extreme amounts of funding. And basically, in order to achieve that, we need to increase the premium costs. Additionally, the increase in healthcare service costs at the beginning of 2023 has led to a gap between the cost per member per month, or CPMPM, and premium per member per month, or PPMPM. The data shows that this gap has widened, with CPMPM exceeding PPMPM since the last increase in 2023 under the regulation of the Minister of Health number 3 of 2023. And in line with the previous explanation, there are administrative sanctions that aim to promote compliance with an applicable regulations for the smooth operation and sustainability of the National Health Insurance Program managed by BPJS Kesehatan. However, implementing this does require careful planning and consideration of potential risks and impacts of such contribution increases. One example of an alternative solution is increasing the upper limit of salary or wages per month used as the basis for calculating the contribution amount of PPU-BU participants and contributions from the private sector in the form of CSR. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the debate session is over. Thank you, everyone. Everyone did well to deliver your opinion and your data. And now it's time to let our honorable adjudicator have a breakout room session to discuss the debate session, and we will come back in a few minutes. Thank you. Okay, for the contestant, please turn on your camera. The Leg Art team first speaker and Senentang team second speaker, please turn on your camera.
Excuse me, Senentang second speaker is praying right now.
Okay, it's okay. Okay, welcome back our honorable adjudicators. It's been very tough decision for all the adjudicators. But since it's competition, we must decide which team deserve go to the next round. Okay, for the first, we would like to invite Miss Mardiana to deliver the comment. Time and media are yours, Miss.
Okay, thank you very much, Miss Ais. Well, everyone, each team show us very good and insightful presentations, I guess. Thank you very much, guys. We have just witnessed a hit debate, yeah. Both of teams made some valid points and supported with relevant examples and statistics. However, all of you also face some challenge and criticisms from your opponents. So we are the adjudicator, things that you should bring the statistic and facts to the table, guys. You have to not only deliver your opinions, but also make some contra argument, yeah, for the other teams when they give you any orders, arguments. We think like that, and we want to remind you that each team consists of 3 speakers, guys. So you have special roles. The first speaker will present their case and outline your arguments, and the second speaker will rebut the opposing team's arguments and reinforce their own case, and the third speaker then will summarize your team's position and review any remaining points from the other side. So we hope in the next event you can specifically play your roles well. And we see each side has 3 speakers who already speak in their turn, and the affirmative side agrees with the topic, and the negative side disagrees with the topic. And we see the first speaker of each side define the topic very well in both of their perspective, and then rebut some of the main points of the other side and present the second half of your case. That's very good. We, the adjudicator, really enjoy the debate this afternoon. After this, Ms. Suchi will give some points, additional points, and maybe the highlight of our assessment about all of teams who follow the debate competition. Thank you very much for your attention and enthusiasm through this debate, guys. Congrats for both of teams.
Thank you so much, Miss Mardiana. Okay, next, we would like to invite Mr. Angga to give any comment. To Mr. Angga, the media is yours.
Okay, thank you, Bu Ais. Huge appreciation for all the houses and all the members and all the supporters for the great performance in this afternoon. But I want to remind you all that this is a debate competition, so you have to respond all the arguments with counter arguments, like Bu Mariana said. And I think there is a house that left so many arguments unresponded. So I do not know this is caused by the well-prepared debate session or unprepared debate session. In my opinion, the houses just read all the script that been made before and do not respond all the arguments, the counter arguments. So if this an English competition is a very good session. However, this is a debate competition, so you have to respond all the arguments with your own argument and develop your argument so the houses will buy in your ideas. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Angga, for your feedback. Okay, the last adjudicator is Miss Suci, and to also announce our winner for today's session. To Miss Suci, time and media are yours. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Are you nervous, debaters? Well, it's a really interesting debate actually this afternoon. Well, I would like to give a comment for both sides of the affirmative and also the negative. For the affirmative house, well, actually, you need to make the case before the debate is starting. So you have the first statement to make the case, to make the motion, but unfortunately, you don't take this opportunity very well because you lack of you're not giving the argument why that this is the only one way to solve the deficit. So you need to make this clear that this is the only way that we need to increase the premium because of 1, 2, 3, something like that. And after that, the first speaker of the negative team respond the case and the motion of from the affirmative team quite well by saying that hey, there is still another thing that we can do besides increasing the premium, for example, like optimizing the contribution, because there is still so many depth of the contribution that we can collect, and also increase the satisfaction, so the members of the JKN could pay the premium, and also the negative team mentioned about the audit from BPK, and we have to give the capitation back around 3 trillion, something like that. It's a really good argument to encounter of all the case from the affirmative team that that this is not the only way to increase the premium. If I become the affirmative house, I will respond those kind of argument by saying that, well, this is the biggest deficit in the JKN. We cannot, we must increase the premium. You have to make the case again. After the negative team rebut all of your argument, you have to make the case again. You have to make your case become strong again by saying that, okay, but we found that about the diminishing return, about the informal sector hard to pay the contribution, about the ability to pay of the informal sector, something like that, about the there's so many reasons that this is the only way, that the contribution is the only way to increase, to solve the deficit. You have to make the case. You have to make the case that this is strong enough that there are no other reason to rebut the case, something like that. So this debate actually is just like a parliamentary example. So the adjudicator as the parliament, and then the affirmative house is the government who bring the proposal to the parliament, for something like MPR, DPR in Indonesia. So the government make the case, make the proposal that we have to increase the contribution, that this is the only way to solve the deficit. You have to make the strong case, something like that. And when the negative team, for example, like in Indonesia, like opposisi, partai oposisi will say that, no, that's not the only way. You have to try another way besides to increase the premium. You have to respond that all of the argument is not eligible. It's not, we cannot do it because of some the reason. Yeah. So based of all this explanation, the adjudicator decide to give the winning to the negative houses. And who will give a announcement about the best speaker? The adjudicator or the moderator?
The adjudicator, Miss.
Oh, okay. And for the best speaker, the adjudicator agreed to give the best speaker to the third speaker of the affirmative house. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Okay, that's all for me. The floor is to moderator again. Thank you.
Okay, Miss Suci, excuse me, you have to announce the best team for this afternoon.
Oh, the best team is the negative team. Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations, Senentang. You're the winner of this match in this afternoon. Congratulations. Okay, please unmute and say hi to your supporters because of their support, you can win this afternoon. Halo, Senentang.
Hello, thank you for
Okay.
all of the supporters. Thank you especially for the adjudicator and for moderator and also for the fellow debaters. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations to the winning team. Highly appreciate for the other team. Okay, thank you so much that you show us the incredible performance for this afternoon. I hope today's debate give you an amazing experience. You may not win today, but you have won this competition in our hearts. Thank you everyone for joining today's match, and thank you for our honorable adjudicators, team counselor, and supporters. See you in the next round. See you. Bye. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.
Congratulations,
Thank you, everyone.
Congratulations.
Thank you, moderator. Thank you,
Great competition.
adjudicators. Thank you, Senentang. Good job.